Hello, everyone. It is again Gordy Canuck, obscure guy in small town Eastern Ontario, coming to you from my living room, my dining room, here very late on Wednesday night, just before midnight on the 30th of March. And I'm going to talk to you very quickly, want to keep this one short, about what happened Sunday night at the Oscars. Unless you're completely disconnected from every form of media, you are already aware, so I'm not going to belabor. Everyone knows what happened. Chris Rock made a tasteless joke. Will Smith then slapped him and then screamed invectives from when he returned back to his seat. We all know about it. Um, there are some things you may not know, though, some things I found interesting after the fact. I know everyone's asking, was the slap staged? That's a big question out there right now. I'm undecided as to whether it was staged or whether it was organic. But either way, the coincidences are startling. First of all, um, the joke was about Jaden Pinkett Smith, Will Smith's wife, suffers from a condition called alopecia, which is an autoimmune, and I want you to remember that, an autoimmune disorder, disease, that can result in something I've come by organically. It can result in loss of hair. She's not the only person I know another individual who has this condition, a gentleman by the name of Charlie Villanueva, who played for the Toronto Raptors for a time. He was their number one draft pick, 7, 8, 9, maybe even 10 years ago. I don't know how long ago it was. Big power forward, and no eyebrows, no hair. And again, caused by alopecia and autoimmune. Remember that autoimmune condition. Now, interestingly, who sponsored the Oscars? They had a number of sponsors, but a big name sponsor they had was none other than Pfizer. And if you go to, there's a site called Fierce Biotech, which is popular with individuals who invest in the biotech industry. And I've included the link below to the article, but it talks about the fact that the sponsorship and in-person event come after the Oscars was forced to go virtual during the pandemic. Its return, one could infer, was made possible predominantly by vaccines, including Pfizer and BioNTech's mRNA shot. I have trouble pronouncing this word, Comirnaty, which is one of the two main COVID vaccines in the US. So after 2 years of the Oscars not taking place live in person, for the first time in 2 years, thanks to the vaccines, they're back live and on TV, and we can thank Pfizer, a sponsor, a keynote sponsor of the of the Oscars, for that. Now, interestingly, that Oscar show then highlights a disease, again, alopecia, an autoimmune disease that causes hair loss. Without that joke, without the slap, without all that, no one would be talking about it. But now everyone's, talking about alopecia, and, in whatever context, but it's part of the conversation. Interestingly enough, the title sponsor, Pfizer, of the Oscars, they have a drug, a late stage drug that should be coming up for approval before the FDA. I would guess in months, a year on the outside. And the name of the drug is, and I'm going to do my best to pronounce it, it's Ritlecitinib. That's the way I'm pronouncing it, Ritlecitinib. With drugs, they're given a trade name. They're every drug. Assuming it does get approved, it'll be given a brand name, like Champex or Bextra or what's their Viagra. Those aren't their clinical technical names. Those are brand names. So Ritlecitinib is a drug that is in late stage development to treat, surprise, surprise, it is to treat alopecia, a condition that currently there are no FDA approved drugs to treat the condition. And now, of course, my dog's going crazy. This is Candy the Wonder Pup. Okay, girl. Okay. Go lay down. Go lay down. Go lay down. All right. But it gets better. Now, as I mentioned before, alopecia is an autoimmune disorder. And what causes autoimmune disorder? Well, this is something that came out just this past January, so just 2-3 months ago. And it's I'm quoting I'd read this is from the National Institute of Health. That's Anthony Fauci's organization, National Institute of Health, National Library of Medicine, National Center for Biotechnical Information. And a paper was written by a number of research scientists. We got Yu Chen, Zui Zhu, Peng Wang, Xiao Mei, Hang Feng Pan. And what they've put out is they say, I'm going to read it. Coronavirus disease 2019, COVID-19 pandemic caused by severe acute respiratory syndrome, coronavirus 2, SARS-CoV-2, has led to an unprecedented setback for global economy and health. Vaccination is one of the most effective interventions to substantially reduce severe disease and death due to SARS-CoV-2 infection. Now, here's the money part. Vaccination programs are being rolled out globally, but most of these vaccines have been approved without extensive studies on their side effects and efficacy. Recently, new onset autoimmune phenomena after COVID-19 vaccination have been reported increasingly. And then it gives a number of examples of autoimmune diseases, and half of them I can't pronounce. So basically what they're saying, it's not basically, they are saying recently new onset autoimmune phenomena after COVID-19 vaccination have been reported. Autoimmune disease. Alopecia is an autoimmune disease. The Oscars were sponsored by Pfizer. Because of the incident that took place between Will Smith and Chris Rock, because of a joke he told about someone suffering from alopecia, we're now all talking about alopecia. So I just found it a curious series of coincidences. That Pfizer would be sponsoring the Oscars, that an incident would take place and blow up virally all over the world, centered on a woman suffering from alopecia, that Pfizer has a drug, Ritlecitinib, to treat alopecia that's coming up for FDA approval at some point, and that the vaccines are reportedly, and again, this is according to, and the link is down below, this is from on the National Institute of Health, National Library of Medicine, National Center for Biotechnology Information on the pubmed.gov site. So this is not recently new onset autoimmune phenomena after COVID-19 vaccination have been reported increasingly. So I'll leave you to read through those links if you want. Coincidence? Sometimes there's a phrase that goes, all the world is but a stage and we are merely players. I believe that's Shakespeare. I wonder if it's more a case of all the world is but a stage and we are merely spectators. And now everyone's talking about alopecia. Anyway, I'll keep shaving my head. Alopecia would also affect the goat and the mustache and the eyebrows. I've known people who've had the condition. It's nothing to be made fun of. It's nothing to joke about. Hair loss for a guy isn't so bad. For a woman, it can be devastating. I've known 2 women who have it. So, not trying to make light of alopecia at all. Just trying to highlight the interesting coincidences that took place. So, short little video, 10, 11 minutes long. Have a good night, everyone. Probably be a week or so before I'm back. Bye now.